Hello and welcome back to Evolved Models. Today we're going to get started with part 6 of the Takom King Tiger build. So in this episode we're going to get started with the upper turret section. As you can see, the turret comes in a number of parts. There were some strengthening bars to stop the item from warping in packaging, but I've removed them before starting. The kit's armour is supposed to be to scale, so a lot of this plastic is quite thick and chunky. They all seem to go together quite nicely. I continued to install some of the interior parts. Unfortunately I couldn't get them on camera because my hand was in the way, but as you can see there's nothing too technical here. The last major part of doing the turret section here is to put in the loading hatch. I tried to be quite careful and not glue the actual pivot itself, so it should be movable and we should be able to open and close it afterwards. Next up we've got the tracks or spare tracks to go on the outside, and the kit comes with this lovely highly technical placing device, piece of paper which I've cut out, and we've got these little holes here to show us where they're going to go. Now it may just be me, but I don't trust the piece of paper, so what I've decided to do is make up the 4 sets of the tracks, get all of the hangers which are supposed to go on here, or either glued on here or loosely fitted, ready to go on, and then put them on. I'm not going to trust this piece of paper at all. We've got one for the left and the right side, and the right side one is much the same, and it should go on there. But again, I'm not going to trust it at all. I'm going to make some tracks up, and then we're going to come back and see if we can hang them on the side and it be a bit more accurate. So let's build some tracks up. There's going to be loads of these to do, so I'm not going to bore you completely to death with them, but we'll show you a couple and then we'll be getting on. So essentially for the tracks, the main tracks and the ones we're going to do here, they're made up of 2 pieces, made up with this flat piece here and the actual track bit itself. Now, best way I've found of doing these is to pop a little bit of the glue down the side there, and we take the flat piece of track, which is now a little bit tacky, and put the glue on there, make sure it's relatively level, like so, and there's one track. So I'm going to do the other 3 of those, and then we can get to looking how the hangers work for these and get them put on the whole top hull turret section. So I'm going to do these and I'll be back shortly. As you can see on here, I've put some of the hangers for the tracks on there. A bit fiddly to put on, but I've come up with a method of doing it. This template isn't too bad by the looks of it. And what I've been doing is I've put some Tamiya tape on the end to stick it there. And then I'm going to put a little bit on the front right there, just to hold it down. And you've got to be very careful with these now, because we've got all the little bits on here. I've taken a really small drill bit, like this little one here, and I'm going through and I'm just making a mark on the whole section. Sorry, on the turret section as it were, where these go. Trying to get as centre of the dot as possible. Not going all the way through. And last but not least, they are pretty delicate when I remove said piece of paper. We do have a sort of an outline of where they're going to go, and what we'll do is I'll just go around these off camera, just brighten them up a bit so I can see where I'm going, and then I'm going to prepare some of the hangers, and then I'll show you how I'm sticking them down. So let me get them prepared and I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, you can probably see I put these ones on here. They're not glued on permanently, they're only on here temporarily just so I don't knock them off. What we're going to do is saturate the area of where the little hangers are going to go with some glue to get it tacky, and then we're going to grab one of our hangers, put one around and see, just hold it over there, and the glue should be, I've melted the plastic enough just so it sort of bites onto it and it sticks down a little bit. What we'll do is when they're all sort of in the right position is I'm going to go and almost swamp it with glue, and that will melt all the plastic into one lovely big piece. So I'm going to do the same with this one. A bit more glue. And there we go. So that's that side on. I'll wait for it to dry and then I'll do what I've done here. I'll put the tracks on it just to keep it protected. I'm not going to bore you with the rest of them. I'm going to go on and do this side now and we'll come back later. Right, I'm behind the camera again. I think it's about time we had a look at how far we've got really. So obviously we just finished, well, nearly finished the top turret section here. I've got the hangers on. You can see on there. You may notice that one of these, if I can zoom in, on this side, is made of brass because I lost one in the carpet, but hey ho. We have the top hull section and the bottom hull section, which still needs weathering and making it look a bit more grimy, but essentially this is where we are so far with the build. It's taking its time, but we're getting there slowly, and we won't be far off now before we get some proper paint on it. Alright, thanks for joining me. In part 7 we should be moving on to the gun and the gun cradle. It's a bit of a build all on its own, so I want to give a good video on that because it does look quite technical. Anyway, it's going to take me a bit of time to get the video up for that one, but I'm looking forward to it and I hope you join me again soon.